Klepper's Corner.
Today in the news, July 29th, 2025. Welcome to Klepper's Corner, the show that asks, how's humanity doing today? And the universe replies, you might want to sit down for this. It's July 29th, 2025. And if you thought the world couldn't get any more on fire, well, Portugal would like a word. Gaza is literally starving, and AI is now smart enough to know we're the problem. Buckle up, folks. Today's news is less reading the headlines and more watching civilization play whack-a-mole with a sledgehammer. Segment 1, famine in Gaza, when even airdrops are too much effort. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza has officially entered the, oh no, it's not just bad, it's biblical phase. According to the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, or as it should be called, the International Panic Committee, the worst-case scenario of famine is currently playing out. That's not a warning, that's not a prediction, that's a euphemism for people are starving to death while the world argues about hashtags. 2 out of 3 famine thresholds have already been met, food consumption and acute malnutrition. The third one, actual hunger-related deaths, is also ticking up. And when 1 in 3 people are going without food for days, it's no longer a conflict, it's slow-motion genocide via policy. Now here's the kicker. This isn't because Gaza is remote. It's not in the Himalayas or the moon. This isn't the sequel to Interstellar. It's 25 miles from Tel Aviv. But because of Israel's ongoing blockade, trucks can't get in, infrastructure is bombed to bits, and children are literally drinking from puddles. Not just metaphorical puddles of injustice, actual disease-ridden puddles. This is what happens when access is weaponized. And the international response? Germany's airlifting aid. The UK is considering recognizing Palestine, which in 2025 is the diplomatic equivalent of tweeting thoughts and prayers. The EU is telling Israel they might take away science funding because if anything makes a far-right war cabinet stop a blockade, it's losing access to lab coats and microscopes. The UN sent 55 aid trucks and crowds unloaded them before they even reached their destinations. You know your relief effort is going well when it ends with a humanitarian version of Black Friday. Meanwhile, Israel's foreign ministry is saying this is all Hamas propaganda. They banned the BBC from entering Gaza and asked planes not to film the devastation. Nothing says nothing to hide like politely requesting the aerial news team to kindly look away. Just imagine if FEMA told CNN, hey, don't zoom in on the hurricane. It's a deep state drizzle. Even Donald Trump has broken from Bibi Netanyahu, admitting there's real starvation. That's right. When Trump is the voice of reason, it's time to check if the 4 horsemen have LinkedIn profiles. Segment 2, Ukraine, where even the hackers need a break. Over in Ukraine, the war continues, and it's not just boots on the ground anymore. It's USB drives in the sky. Russian missile strikes killed 22 people and injured nearly 90, targeting a prison and a medical facility. If you're wondering when the Geneva Conventions just became optional reading, apparently that was 3 invasions ago. Meanwhile, Ukrainian-aligned hackers took out over 100 Aeroflot flights in Russia. Think about that. Russia targeted a hospital. Ukraine canceled some Russian flights and threatened to leak passenger data. Welcome to 21st century warfare, where revenge is served cold and encrypted. The hackers are threatening to expose everyone who's flown Aeroflot, which could mean outing Putin's mistresses, or just humiliating middle managers trying to expense vodka shots at the Sheremetyevo duty-free. And yes, Russia confirmed it was a hacker attack, which means it wasn't just a glitch. It's a cyber gut punch. The front lines aren't just trenches anymore, they're terminal commands and IP addresses. The new battlefield is your boarding pass. It's hard to understate how bad it is that Russia is bombing hospitals and Ukraine is retaliating by hacking airports. This is Call of Duty meets Mr. Robot, but with real lives and far fewer dramatic lighting setups. It shows the world that civilians aren't collateral anymore, they're the damn target list. Segment 3, Portugal is on fire, and not in the fun TikTok way. In Portugal, over 1,300 firefighters are battling wildfires that look like they were directed by Michael Bay. 3 major blazes are burning through central and northern Portugal, sending villagers fleeing and tourists screaming, "This wasn't in the brochure." And yes, climate change is the arsonist here. Locals are openly saying the fires are caused by droughts linked to, you guessed it, climate change. Remember when climate denial was trendy? Now it's just willful blindness with a tan line. Spain is sending planes to help. And if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. When two countries with a centuries-long rivalry team up to fight fires, it means even nationalism gets heat stroke. And the worst part? This isn't a one-off. Just last September, a fire in the same region torched 6,000 hectares. Climate change isn't just knocking on the door, it's raiding your fridge and setting your couch on fire. There's a pattern here, folks. Hotter summers, drier forests, more smoke. We used to worry about sunburn, now we're worried about spontaneous combustion. Segment 4. Tragedy in Midtown, Park Avenue goes full Gotham. Tragedy struck 345 Park Avenue in New York City, where a lone gunman opened fire in a high-rise office tower, killing 4 people, including a heroic NYPD officer, and injuring a 5th before taking his own life. This tower houses the NFL headquarters, Blackstone, and KPMG. So basically, the shooter targeted capitalism's skyscraper trifecta. It's the Wall Street Avengers Tower. The shooter was Shane Tamura of Las Vegas, a man with a documented mental health history who road-tripped cross-country before opening fire in Midtown Manhattan. His arsenal included an M4 rifle, ammo, and enough meds to fill a pharmacy. Because nothing says mental health crisis like treating it with a road trip and a semi-automatic. Among the victims, Didaral Islam, an NYPD officer and father of 2, working a corporate security detail. A man who literally ran toward the bullets. That's heroism. In an age where security guards are more known for confiscating vape pens than saving lives, Islam gave everything to protect others. What's shocking, scratch that, infuriating, is how routine this is. A mass shooting in Manhattan, not in a club, a school, or a suburban Walmart, in a high-security skyscraper, surrounded by money, lawyers, and armed security. If it can happen there, where can't it? And yet we're stuck in the usual post-shooting bingo card. Mental health blame? Check. Assault weapon? Check. Thoughts and prayers on repeat like a Spotify glitch? Triple check. But you'll notice nobody ever suggests regulating the things that turn one guy's breakdown into a mass casualty event. Because somehow we've decided it's easier to send fighter jets to aid zones than to ban one lunatic from legally buying a murder machine. Welcome to America, where your Wi-Fi might have a password, but your rifle doesn't. Segment 5. Trump visits Scotland, forgets Gaza isn't a golf course. President Trump wrapped up his 4-day Scotland trip, which was allegedly for golf, but apparently also served as a venue for major foreign policy. Because nothing screams diplomatic recalibration like screaming for and announcing trade realignments in the same breath. But here's the real kicker. Trump publicly acknowledged there's real starvation in Gaza. I'll say that again. Donald, I hear you, but not really Trump, contradicted Benjamin Netanyahu. That's like Mike Pence calling a gay pride parade refreshing. Trump even met with UKPN Keir Starmer to discuss a pathway to peace. And while no one's sure if that pathway involves sanctions or just a trail of golf carts through humanitarian disaster zones, the optics were clear. Trump is trying to look statesmanlike, which is impressive considering this is the same guy who once recommended disinfectant as a cure. What's really going on here? Trump's sensing a shift. The international tide is turning against Israel's blockade. People are watching children starve on TV and saying, hey, maybe we should do something besides argue on Twitter. Even Trump knows you don't want to be the guy siding with no famine here when the BBC is showing puddle-drinking toddlers in real time. So now we've got a recalibration, which in Trump speak means I'm starting to realize my poll numbers like empathy, so I'm giving it a whirl. Who knows? Maybe next week he'll declare healthcare a human right from the back nine. Segment 6, Birthright Blues, when citizenship has an expiration date. Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship, EO 14160, the sequel nobody asked for, is back in the spotlight. Although it's currently blocked by multiple courts, newly leaked documents show how the administration plans to implement it anyway. Under this EO, if you're born in the U.S., but your mom was undocumented and your dad wasn't a citizen, you're not American. Forget apple pie, you're getting apple denial. This is the legal equivalent of kicking over the crib and yelling, go back where you came from, to a newborn who literally came from here. The implications are wild. Denied passports, denied Medicaid, babies without citizenship, hospitals becoming border checkpoints, doctors being told, before you cut the umbilical cord, check the visa. Critics say this is unconstitutional, un-American, and unhinged. But that's the brand. This EO is a direct slap in the face to the 14th Amendment. You know, the one that actually defines citizenship? Yeah, we're just rewriting that now because someone's Fox News segment ran long. This isn't just a policy fight, it's an existential one. It's the age-old question: who gets to be American? Apparently not babies born on American soil anymore, because if the uterus is undocumented, then so is the baby. I mean, who needs birth certificates when you've got border walls? Segment 7. Elon Musk buys chips, like $16 billion worth. Elon Musk has struck a $16.5 billion semiconductor chip deal with Samsung, and no, it's not for Tesla's dashboard snack drawer. It's for securing chips that power everything from electric vehicles to AI supercomputers. This is Elon's version of doomsday prepping. Samsung had quietly mentioned the deal before, but now it's confirmed Tesla is locking in its future supply, possibly to fuel their new AI ventures. Because apparently Musk's goal is to build a car that not only drives itself, but can also write a sonnet, win at Jeopardy, and deny your credit card application simultaneously. This deal is huge. It ensures Tesla doesn't have to rely on a chip supply chain more fragile than the average Twitter user's ego. And it shows how the tech war is turning into a supply war. The new arms race is semiconductor wafers. Forget oil, we're fighting over microprocessors now. But here's the thing. Chips aren't just for cars anymore. They're for AI, defense, facial recognition, crypto mining, dating apps that judge you. I mean, we are putting our entire lives on a slab of silicon the size of a fingernail. And who benefits from this? Samsung for sure, Tesla obviously, humanity to be determined. I'm not sure I trust a car that could decide it's too emotionally exhausted to merge onto I-95. Segment 8, China's AI, the rise of the robot dragon. China's artificial intelligence capabilities just leveled up, and not in a fun new emoji pack kind of way. U.S. researchers are reportedly baffled by China's progress, especially after the release of DeepSeek R1, an AI model so advanced it makes ChatGPT look like it's still on dial-up. This is a wake-up call. While America was busy asking AI to write Drake diss tracks and generate anime girlfriends, China was building an entire national computing network and funneling it through strategic state-led AI pilot zones. They basically gave AI a gym membership, a government stipend, and said, work smarter, not just harder. President Xi has declared a goal of autonomously controllable AI. That's right. While we're still arguing about whether AI should be allowed to write high school essays, China's building Skynet with a 5-year plan. What's truly wild is how methodical it all is. Massive state investment, government-backed research hubs, coordinated data pooling. It's like China is playing chess and the U.S. is playing Angry Birds in a locked bathroom stall. The implications? Massive. Economic dominance, military applications, surveillance capabilities, and maybe most importantly, bragging rights. Because you know Xi is itching to say our AI writes better code and doesn't hallucinate entire court cases. So the global AI race is officially neck and neck. And unless we want our future overlord speaking Mandarin with perfect pronunciation, it might be time to reboot our priorities. Segment 9. Zebra mussels invade Colorado, nature's most annoying clam. Breaking news, the Colorado River has zebra mussels. Again. Yes, the same zebra mussels that reproduce like bunnies on Adderall and clog up everything from hydroelectric dams to your grandma's favorite kayak route. These little mollusks are invasive, disruptive, and possibly the only creature that gets more annoying the smaller it is. They filter phytoplankton, which sounds helpful until you realize that's what native fish eat. It's like inviting someone to your dinner party and watching them eat all the appetizers, the entree, the centerpiece, and then your aquarium fish for dessert. The real kicker? They're gumming up water infrastructure, which means more maintenance, more money, and less water for states already one dry spell away from becoming Mad Max cosplay conventions. Zebra mussels are basically the glitter of the animal kingdom. Once they show up, you're never getting rid of them, and they stick to everything. And their arrival in the Colorado River is a warning sign that our ecological house is out of order and the plumbing is officially cursed. Segment 10. Colombia convicts former president. The South American plot twist. Former Colombian President Alvaro Uribe has been convicted of bribery and procedural fraud. Yes, the same Uribe who once ran a country is now just running out of appeals. This is a historic moment. Colombia has done what many nations can't seem to: hold its top leaders accountable. America, take notes. Or at least ask, can we borrow your justice system for a week or two? Uribe's guilty verdict isn't just about him. It sends a message. Your status doesn't make you untouchable. In fact, in Colombia now, it might just make you more likely to be touched by handcuffs. This could ripple across Latin America, inspiring other nations to go after corrupt elites. Who knows, maybe next week Brazil will announce a new game show called Wheel of Indictment. And yes, Uribe says he'll appeal, because nothing screams innocence like one last desperate Hail Mary into the legal system. Segment 11. England's Lionesses win. Finally, a British victory not followed by colonialism. The England Lionesses have defended their European title and made history as the first English team to win a major tournament on foreign soil. That's right, England finally won something that doesn't involve sarcasm or shipping containers. They're getting the full hero treatment: a bus parade, a Downing Street reception, and wait for it, public joy in England, which is rarer than a sunny day in Manchester. This win isn't just about goals. It's about representation, equity, and the rising status of women's sports. These athletes didn't just beat the competition, they shattered outdated expectations with cleats on. It's a great moment. And if you're still not convinced women's soccer deserves the spotlight, just remember, they're winning while the men's team is still Googling penalty kick technique. Segment 12, School Superintendent versus Border Patrol. The new civil liberties showdown. Wilmer Chavarria, Vermont school superintendent and immigrant from Nicaragua, was detained by Customs and Border Protection and pressured to hand over personal data: emails, photos, texts. His alleged crime? Implementing a sanctuary policy at his school. Let's pause there. This guy runs a public school, not a criminal syndicate, not a terror cell, a school. You know, the place with glitter glue and science fairs. But apparently that's enough to make CBP think you're hoarding encrypted nap schedules. Agents reportedly threatened his job and longer detention unless he unlocked his phone, which feels less like border security and more like a scene cut from Black Mirror, Bureaucracy Edition. This isn't just about privacy, it's about intimidation. When local leaders are harassed for protecting immigrant families, it sends a chilling message. You could run a school, but you better keep your iCloud neat and tidy. What does this say to immigrant communities? That sanctuary isn't safe. That the people trying to shield you are themselves under surveillance. It's the kind of twisted logic that makes students think twice before trusting the adults trying to help them. And in the end, it's not just about one man's phone. It's about what kind of country we're becoming. One where compassion is criminalized and public educators get treated like cartel bosses for defending civil rights. Segment 13. Cambodia and Thailand argue about peace. Again. Just one day after signing a ceasefire, Thailand and Cambodia are already accusing each other of violating it. It's like the ink wasn't even dry before someone went, "You flinched." Cambodia denies everything, of course. It's like diplomatic gaslighting. No, you shot first. The problem is these two countries have a long history of accidental incursions and ceasefires that hold about as long as TikTok trends. The takeaway? Peace isn't just hard, it's fragile, especially when border disputes are layered with decades of mistrust, nationalism, and that one general who just really hates maps. If this keeps up, they're going to need a referee with night vision goggles and a psychology degree. Segment 14, Commerce Department's patent plot twist: pay to think innovation in America. May soon come with a price tag larger than your R&D budget. The Commerce Department is floating a new proposal that would force patent holders to pay 1 to 5% of their patent's total value annually. You heard that right. Own a $1 billion patent? That'll be $50 million, please. It's like a property tax on your brain. This move would be revolutionary if by revolutionary you mean potentially devastating to everyone who doesn't work for Google. Because while big corporations might just shrug and write a check, small inventors and startups will be drowning in fees before they even finish printing their prototype on a 3D printer from 2019. Supporters say it modernizes the patent system. Critics say it punishes innovation. I say it turns the patent office into the world's most expensive subscription service. Congratulations on your idea. To keep it alive, press 2 and insert $10,000. And what happens when people stop filing patents because it's too expensive? You guessed it, innovation bottlenecks, lawsuits galore, and TikTok inventing the next great space engine just because they got there first. This is the kind of reform that makes you wonder if the Commerce Department was bought out by trademark trolls. In conclusion, so what did we learn today? That famine in Gaza is no longer theoretical. It's tragic and very real. That Ukraine's war now has a digital side hustle. That climate change in Europe is so bad, even Portugal's tourist brochures are starting to smolder. And that in America, a guy with an M4 rifle can still get into an office tower easier than someone trying to get health insurance. We also learned that President Trump might use golf trips for foreign policy. Not for play, but for policy. That birthright citizenship is apparently up for debate again, like it's a brunch topic. That Elon Musk is hoarding chips like it's 1999 and Y2K is back. And that China's AI is evolving so fast, it's going to start demanding better broadband plans. We saw a former Colombian president get convicted. England actually won something. Zebra mussels are here to ruin your plumbing. And the Commerce Department just made thinking too expensive for most Americans. It's a chaotic, tragic, sometimes inspiring, mostly confusing time to be alive, which is why we'll keep showing up here, trying to make sense of it all. One headline, one graphic, one 8-minute nervous breakdown at a time. That's it for today's episode of Klepper's Corner. Stay curious, stay sarcastic, and if you see a zebra mussel, don't hug it, report it. Good night, folks.